Hey guys, welcome back to a surprise basketball edition of the Carla and Crappy Show. We're going to once again pretend that we know what we're talking about, and I'm going to be honest with you up front. I know much less about college basketball than I do about college football, but that's never stopped me before. You guys won't be surprised. I'm doing the Homer thing right here. Carla, I understand
Hi.
you have something similar too.
I do. I'm sporting the Bobby Moe gear for the second day in a
Robert
row
Morris, that rings a bell. Why is Robert Morris familiar? I
because
can't.
because we beat this little SEC team last night
That
that you
was
might have heard of.
that was
Kentucky.
that was such an awesome game.
I'll tell the story briefly. I was
Yeah.
out at a local establishment in
Mhm.
in the Nashville area, and this is SEC country down here. And I was wearing my Red Army polo because the kids declared it a red out, so I found the only red Robert Morris shirt I had and wore it all day yesterday. Went to the game, sat there. I was going bonkers over in the corner right next to the TV. We didn't have sound on the TV because they had the sound on the other games.
Mhm.
And so I'm going nuts. So we get up and leave, and I'm still wearing the Robert Morris shirt, and the people that were sitting around us kind of pointed and looked, and they're like, "Did you go to Robert Morris?" And they're like, "Where is that?" I said, "Pittsburgh." I said, "Yes, I went there." And they high-fived me on the way out because
Nice.
they said, they were like, you beat Kentucky, you're a fan of ours, and they started
Nobody
high-fiving
likes
us.
Kentucky. Nice.
Yeah, it was incredible. And so I dug out the other Robert Morris shirt that's not packed, and wore it all day today because people
Okay.
actually recognized it.
Very
So,
cool. Very cool. Congratulations. Seriously, that was awesome. We had a couple people from the paper where I work and where Carly used to work.
yeah.
We had a new girl who isn't especially familiar with college basketball, and I forgot to warn her about the possibility of what might happen if Robert Morris wins and the floor rushing and getting trampled and all that stuff. And it's something she narrowly avoided, apparently.
If you're following it on Twitter, they actually started talking about the court storming with 10 minutes left in the second half. Because I had friends that were in the student section that were saying that they were putting their strategies together so that they didn't get trampled when the rush came down over it.
Just go quick. Go quick.
Yeah, go quick and go together. That's the key. Because I stormed the court in when they won in the NEC championship against Mount St. Mary's. I was in the student section that night.
Okay.
The only time I've ever stormed a court, and that was our philosophy: link arms and go, because you're just going to get trampled otherwise. And it was incredible, and it killed me not to be in Pittsburgh last night.
Well, getting to see it, getting to see Robert Morris nationally televised and beating Kentucky is a pretty good second choice. There's more basketball. Beyond that, even
Beyond the NIT, really?
The big show starts tomorrow, a little bit after noon. We have prepared a few questions that we've asked. We're going to go through some of the preliminary stuff, and then I think we'll manage to come back and do a second show before the Final Four happens. But let's get started with what we got here. The first top seed, and we're going to go ones and twos here, that will get knocked out of the tournament. Carla, who you got?
This may be surprising, but I think the first one seed to go is going to be Kansas.
Okay.
I don't like their draw where they are. I don't like a potential second round matchup with North Carolina because that whole history. And I potentially have them meeting VCU, who I actually have knocking them out in the Sweet 16. They lost to Michigan State, they lost to Baylor, and they had a 3-game losing streak in early March. So this is a relative, they're just now getting back into the swing of things. When they win, they look awesome, but they have 4 out of their 5 losses were by more than 5 points. And so, there's only 3 ranked teams in the Big 12. They've struggled both times with Oklahoma State, needed overtime in one round, lost in the other one. I think Kansas fans should be a little bit nervous.
Okay.
What do you think?
I thought about that one. That region is tough. I think my first top seed getting knocked out is Louisville.
Good call.
It could potentially happen in the second round with a game against Missouri, or you mentioned Oklahoma State, who's looked pretty good. I also look at the round following that and see St. Louis, a 4 seed sitting there. I finally got to see them play towards the end of the season, and was pretty impressed. I don't know if Pitino has any kind of magic that he can pull out during the tournament. His record obviously is pretty solid, but I think they're the first ones to go.
I like that pick because
Okay.
the team that normally wins the Big East tournament, everyone immediately puts them into the Final Four, and they've struggled every year. I think UConn is the only exception to that rule. They won the Big East tourney and then went and won the national title. So yeah, I don't have Louisville in my Final Four, so that's a good pick. I like it.
Okay.
I'm asking you.
You're asking me.
I ask you a question now. First round upset to watch. What do you like in the first round? I
am saying this not entirely because of the sweatshirt I'm wearing, although it might have a little something to do with it. I think if you look at the Big Ten and you look at the University of Michigan Wolverines, you see a team that has unbelievable talent. You also see a team that when they are not engaged, they can play some awful basketball. And if their heads aren't in the game in their first round, I know it's South Dakota State, but that's my potential first round upset of this tournament. Michigan's been knocked out early before to my Ohio University Bobcats just a year ago. I think that could happen again.
Yeah, I saw that game last year courtside, and know how Michigan can kind of, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but they can, if they're not in a game, they can check out. They've done that this season. They did it last year against Ohio. I think you're right. I think they could potentially do it again. I went differently, though. I see another one that seems to be the hot upset pick. So I'm not I don't want to totally jump on the bandwagon, but I like Davidson over Marquette. Davidson won 17 straight, and they love the three-point game. And in the lead-up to the tournament, Marquette coach Buzz Williams flat out said, "We can't shoot." That's not what you want your head coach saying before you go into the NCAA tournament.
I just saw that on TV a little while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not exactly a vote of confidence for your team. The other thing that I like is that Marquette is just 5-6 away from home. Davidson's 9-4. So I think that's a game that could be sneaky good that wouldn't stun me at all. That's a 14/3, and that could be pretty interesting.
Okay. You've got Marquette, I've got Michigan, and obviously I have some personal reasons for wanting Michigan to get knocked out in the first round too. If you've watched any of our college football shows, you guys are aware of that. Game I don't want to miss. Carla, what is the game that you don't want to miss?
And the worst part is this is one of the first games of the tournament, which means it's going to be likely that we're all going to miss it if everybody's working. I really don't want to miss Butler and Bucknell. And maybe that's because, obviously I'm a mid-major fan, and I hate the fact that two really awesome mid-major teams are facing each other in the first round like this. It would be nice to see them vetted against other conferences. But Bucknell's on a 7-game win streak. We all know the history with Butler. 4 starters, I looked this up, this is really amazing. 4 starters for Bucknell have combined for 5,600 career points. That's crazy. This Bucknell team could beat Butler, and it wouldn't surprise me if either team pulls away and wins this game. So I hate the fact this game is at 12:40 Eastern tomorrow, Thursday. I'll probably try to stream it somehow at work. I don't know, but yeah, don't miss that one if you can avoid it.
I will be doing a lot of that. No, I will not be watching basketball. I'm at work.
No.
That would be wrong.
Not at all.
I'm projecting here a little bit, and I hesitate to do that. But we'll look at the games coming up this weekend. And if I can go with these assumptions, I'm going to take Ohio State and Notre Dame. Ohio State has a couple interesting. The game against Iona is going to be interesting. Ohio State does not score a whole lot, and has no inside game whatsoever. If Aaron Kraft is playing well and can contribute to the scoring, I feel they can play pretty well. But their first round test against Iona, which is a team that scores like crazy, will be interesting. But I think the first real big test would be Notre Dame, assuming they advance. Part of this, to be honest, is that I love beating Notre Dame at stuff. That's always fun. But I think that will be a good test. Notre Dame, in a lot of ways, is particularly if we're talking about defense, is a similar team to Ohio State. And so I think that will be a fun and pretty tough test. And if Ohio State is playing the kind of defense that they are capable of, they should beat Notre Dame and could play pretty deep into the tournament. But I think that's when we'll find out what kind of mental shape my Buckeyes are in.
Mm-hmm.
As everyone goes through their brackets, they always look for a 12 seed to upset a 5 seed. And it seems to happen every single year. Carla, who's it going to be this time?
I took Oregon over Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Looking at all of the other 12-5s, this one seems to make the most sense to me because Oregon won the Pac-12 tournament and they're a 12 seed, which is, talk about not getting a lot of respect from the committee.
That tends to, I think that says more about the conference than maybe it does about Oregon.
It does, but still, I mean, you've got a very high quality Big Six conference team sitting in your 12 slot who's been playing well as of late, and Oklahoma State, which can be a little streaky. When they play, they're another team. When they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they're good. And they've been kind of back and forth like that all season. I don't know. I think Oregon can pull it off.
Okay.
What's your upset?
This was solidified in my mind after watching the MAC championship game. I'm going to take Akron over VCU. I think Akron is a pretty complete team. The leading scorer is the big Zeke Marshall. He's a 7-footer. He's averaging around 15 points a game, not overwhelming, but solid. And I've been especially impressed with guard play. I've got to see a couple more games besides the one I watched over the weekend. The thing that stuck with me after watching them beat my alma mater on Saturday was watching Akron's guards completely shut down DJ Cooper. You guys may not know, Carla. You saw DJ play a year ago. He has amassed ridiculous career numbers playing guard at Ohio University, and he basically he may have had one field goal in the game in the MAC championship, a few more free throws. He was basically shut down. Akron played unbelievable defense, and of course the defense wins championships cliche can carry over to basketball too. I was really impressed with the Zips, even though I have no idea what a zip is, and I think they could advance past the first round this weekend.
Up until last night, nobody knew what a colonial was either.
True. Teams that could surprise. What you got?
Gosh, there's a lot of them this year because I wrote a post about this earlier about how the person in your office pool who flips a coin or picks by mascot or picks by color probably has as legitimate of a shot at winning your bracket pool this year as those people that follow it, because the season's just been a mess. So what the heck, St. Louis? They're a good team, and they played in they played in the Atlantic 10. And that was one of the top basketball conferences this year with the number of teams that they had in there. They have a quality win against New Mexico, which is now suddenly everybody's favorite pick to make a surprise run out of the West. I'm not sure I totally understand that, but okay. And they also, there's that motivational factor, there's the emotional play with St. Louis playing in memory of Rick Majerus. And that really has kind of carried this team. And it would be a nice story if St. Louis made a decent run, considering everything they've been through this year. And they won the A10, and that's not an easy tournament. The other thing that's worth noting about them, they have 5 wins over top 25 teams. So say if they haven't played anybody this year, that's just not valid. The A10 was tough, and they have decent wins. So I have St. Louis in the Sweet 16, but we'll see. They could go even further.
Okay. Okay, you picked a 4 as your surprise team. I'm going with the 5, and I'm gonna betray my Big Ten roots here. It pains me to say this, but Wisconsin is a team that is built for stuff like this.
Mhm.
They, if you're a hockey fan and you remember the New Jersey Devils of a few years ago, it's just you hated watching them. The games were brutal. The games were slow. They played unbelievable defense, and if you were going to win, you knew it was going to be a 1-0 game. A couple people joked on Twitter during the Big Ten championship game over the weekend between Ohio State and Wisconsin. First team to 50 wins, and that was close. Ohio State just got past 50 to win the conference tournament title. The region that Wisconsin's in is kind of open. I think they could get pretty deep into the tournament before they run into someone who maybe can play with them. And that might be another Big Ten team that they come up against later on. But they're going to be as tough as anybody, and I think they're one to watch.
Yeah, and we were talking about games to watch earlier. Wisconsin, Kansas State could be a heck of a game if that
Yes.
ends up in the second round. That's going to be a huge early run game.
Yes.
I really like both of those teams. So.
As we said, we're not going to make any championship predictions now, but we are going to go as far as predicting our Final Four, and then we'll come back and see how we did with those picks and take a look at the final weekend before that happens. Carla, four. Who you got?
Well, as of this moment, and because I can still change my bracket until 11:30 tomorrow morning.
Very true. Very true.
As of right now, my Final Four, and this makes me extremely nervous, out of the Midwest, I am taking Michigan State for the same reason that we just talked about Louisville out of the Big East. So I'm going to take the Spartans in the West just because I've got to have a mid-major. I'm going to ride Gonzaga. I think they've got a legitimate shot. They had a good draw. If they can beat Ohio State in the final, I've got Ohio State, Gonzaga, and my love of mid majors is putting Gonzaga. Out of the South is kind of a toss up because I don't like Kansas all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got Florida in the Final Four, and I'm not sure I'm sold on Florida either. But are you sold on any of the teams this year? Really?
Right.
So if Florida gets hot, they're going to make the Final Four. So okay. Go Gators, I guess. And out of the East, I like Indiana. I went pretty much chalk in the East, other than Davidson over Marquette.
Mm-hmm.
I think Indiana, Miami in the regional final could be one heck of a game. But I think Indiana might have all of the pieces to legitimately make a run in this tournament. So those are my 4: 2 1s, a 2, and a 3.
Okay. You guys again won't have any trouble to figure out what conference I grew up watching. Maybe there's a little bias here, although I think each of these picks are defensible. I also have Michigan State. I have Ohio State, and I hesitate there a little bit. I don't want to be too much of a homer when I'm filling out my brackets, but I think if Ohio State is playing the kind of defense that they are capable of, and if Aaron Kraft can find some offense somewhere, I think that's a Final Four team. Georgetown, again, the region where Kansas is the 1 seed. As you said, it's kind of a mess, and I think Georgetown is as capable as anybody winning that one. And in what I think is probably the best team in the country, IU is my 4th. And they are a very complete team. Ohio State was lucky to beat them once during the regular season, and I see them getting to the Final Four actually pretty easily.
Yeah, they got a good draw in the East, I think. Miami is a team nobody really has paid a lot of attention to, and they should. Because if Miami stays high, I think they could legitimately beat Indiana. But like we said, that's been the way it's gone every game this year. A number 1 seed team in the nation has lost. Every week they've been number 1 for like 6 straight weeks.
Right.
The only one not to do that was Gonzaga. So, flip a coin.
What are you going to do? Listen, guys. As I said, we will be back before the Final Four and championship weekend to dissect how we did with these picks and to let you guys know what we think about what will be coming. In the meantime, Carla, go Colonials, huh?
Go Bobby Moe. Just found out they're going to be at Providence sometime this weekend. Providence
Okay.
in their game. So the game will be at Providence. Don't know day or time yet. Could be Monday. That would be awesome.
Okay.
So fingers crossed. Go Bobby Moe.
Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the madness, and we will be back with you in a couple weeks. Have a good night.